So Walt Disney, one of the world's most famous brands, with what we now see on the TV, with the parks, everything he had in place. What an incredible man he was. And he gave us so many elements of inspiration and learnings as business owners and sales professionals. And in this video, I'm going to share with you some of the key business lessons and key lessons we can learn from Walt Disney and how he can inspire us in the work he did to become even better and achieve greater success. Let's have a look at the video. But before you do, please like and subscribe to the channel if you've watched my other videos. Please subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification button to get videos every week across to you. I'm sharing videos on sales, business content that can help you achieve great results. I'm a man that's learned from Walt Disney. Let's hope you can learn from some of the things I'm sharing to get you the results you want. One of the first things that Walt Disney was able to do was identify when he wasn't the right person to do jobs in his firm, where there were elements around the creation of the films or the marketing or production of the films. He was able to identify where he wasn't the best person and bring other people in to help him achieve that success. When we're leaders in business, we've got to be able to understand our weaknesses and understand where we're strong and where we're not. So the first business lesson that we can learn is leadership isn't about being the know-it-all. It's about knowing where you're strong, where you're weak, where you need to get better, where you want to make strengths and gains, and be able to bring the right people in who have the right elements and culture to do and achieve the vision that you have. If you inspire people, if you give them the time, give them the support, and give them the chance to go and live and do the things that they're good at doing, you can achieve incredible things from it. And Walt Disney's legacy and what he's achieved is much due to the fact he was prepared to do that in the first place and bring others in that could be better than him and achieve more things to help him and his company grow. Take that advice on board. It's a great thing for us all to learn. So when Walt Disney was launching a lot of the early stuff that he did, he always wanted to look at how he could improve and make things better. For example, before Snow White was invented, there was no such thing as a feature-length animated film. No one had done it, but Walt Disney was determined to look at ways in which he could get better. And after the success of Snow White, he was able then to do additional work such as Cinderella and Alice in Wonderland that helped then create movies and activities that will literally live on in the generation for years and years to come. Another way he was able to become better was when he wanted to create Disney parks. When he created the first Disney parks in Florida, what he was able then to do is to test the rides. He was obsessed about making sure what the customer feedback was on the rides and how they could get better. He wanted to test them personally to see if they were the fun rides that he wanted for the dream he had of his park. He had this internal desire to not just rest on the laurels of what has been put in place, but to get better, to improve, to keep going on that path towards incredible excellence. He did it with films, he did it with his parks, and it's something that he did all through his business career in order to motivate his teams to achieve better things. The reality is in business, if we stay still, we go backwards. We've got to innovate, we've got to keep getting better, we've got to keep learning and use Walt Disney's inspiration and the things he did with his parks and his films as an inspiration for us all. Keep learning how to get better, keep developing, keep improving, and it's going to put you on the path to keep growing and achieving the success and the personal happiness that you want. If you're a business owner or sales professional, we have to continually challenge ourselves to take risks. Sometimes when a project's falling away, or maybe when a service or a product we've launched hasn't gone the way we wanted it to, it's sometimes easier to say, oh no, I'll give in on that and go back to where we started. There are a number of times where stories show that he had to sell his own personal possessions in order to keep the Disney brand going. Possessions that he probably loved and didn't want to get rid of, but he had his dream of what he wanted Disney to be, and he had to sell those possessions to keep the brand going. He had to take some risks that maybe to others seemed mad, but to him were logical things to do in order to achieve what he wanted. So as business owners and sales professionals, I'm encouraging you to think and write down, what risks have you taken? Do this now. What risks have you taken in the last month or in the last week or in the last year? And how big are those risks and what's the implication if it goes wrong? Sometimes the risks that we take may scare us. They may make us think, wow, I didn't want to do this. But when we have that drive and when we keep on backing ourselves and the vision that we have, we know in time the good results will come. So take that inspiration from Walt Disney and take those risks. Sure, make them calculated. You don't want to bet the farm on something that's never going to achieve or happen. But if you believe in something and what you're doing is driving and getting that success and traction, keep backing yourself, keep investing in what you do, take risks, and the rewards will come in time. So the fourth point around Walt Disney and what he can teach us all from a business and sales and inspiration perspective is change your attitude towards failure. This is such a key point, and I can't tell you the amount of times that I have failed in my life and my business career. Lots of times. I have absolutely got so many things wrong, things that didn't go right at companies, things where I've failed. But what I've done is not necessarily let them dictate or drive my life, I've let them inspire me to become better. And Walt Disney was exactly the same thing. Did you know that when he was actually on the way back on a train on the way back from losing a deal, he created Mickey Mouse? That was the inspiration. So rather than letting his head get into a downward spiral and thinking he can't achieve things, he created one of the cartoon characters that is known across the whole world at the same time after losing a deal. But the reality is this, we have to change our mindset around failure. Failure is a good lesson to learn. It helps us see what didn't work. It helps us maybe see how we can change our behavior to get better results. And if we program our brains and mindsets to understand that it's part of life, it's part of what we do, we're not going to get everything right. But if we continue to have this positive mindset to learn from what we've taken on board and the mistakes we've made, and then become better at what we do, and if we follow Walt Disney's leads, we can create our own Mickey Mouse, and hopefully the results and the rewards will come to us as certainly did to him. So the fifth point that we can all take inspiration from Walt Disney was a total and utter belief in himself. When we're all in business a lot of the time, and I've shared this in lots of videos in the past, when we lose that self-belief, it just basically comes across in the way we act and we approach things. And there is, of course, a fine line between confidence and arrogance, but having that self-belief, or humble confidence as I call it, is incredibly important. There are a number of times when Walt Disney was told that things wouldn't work out for him, that he was told that things wouldn't be the success that he thought they would be. There was also a fantastic moment around his own self-belief that I really wanted to share with you that shows why we've got to continue to believe and picture what it is that we do. On the opening day of Disney World, some 5 years after Walt Disney's death, someone commented to Mick Vance, the creative director, that it was so sad that Walt wasn't able to see the day and see things opening. The response that Vance replied with was key, and it absolutely shows and typifies everything about what Walt Disney was. So even though Walt Disney died and didn't see Disney World come to life, in the reality, he pictured it so much in his mind, he believed in what he wanted to do, he was able to bring it to life and put it together so when it did open, other people were able to benefit from his incredible legacy. So believe in yourself and what you do. Have that character and that courage to do the things that matter to you, those values that are strong, that you hold dear. Believe in yourself, commit to yourself, back yourself, and do what Walt Disney did. He was able to achieve incredible success. And if you do the same with your skills and where you're going with your business, you can achieve, hopefully, something even similar to what he did. And if we did, we're all going to be in a far happier place. So point number 6, when it comes to learning from Walt Disney, is about being resilient. Now you might say, is that the same as setbacks and failures and belief? No, of course, there's obviously things that are a little bit different. But we've got to be resilient when it comes to doing what we want to achieve. We can't let the setbacks hurt us and take us off our path, especially if we've got a clear idea of where our vision and path is. There's a number of times when Walt Disney was knocked back in lots of different areas. For example, it took him 16 years to get the rights for Mary Poppins, and yet that film and that show has been an incredible success that's earned Disney millions of pounds over the years. But 16 times it took him to get the rights for that. He was turned down incredibly 302 times before he got the finance in place to build Disneyland. Most people would have given up before that point. But he was so determined, so clear about his vision of what he wanted to achieve that he kept on going. And we're all here living and seeing what those amazing theme parks that he created have now brought to us today. So he faced many challenges. He faced so many setbacks. So many times he was told he couldn't do things and he couldn't achieve things. But he built that resilience. He built that mental strength to keep going. And it's got to be an inspiration for us all to do the same thing. You're going to get setbacks. You're going to get failings. The chances are things are more likely to go wrong at the start than go right. But if you keep focused on what you're going to do and build that mindset to know that you're not going to let anything get in the way of your vision is happening and coming to life, then you, like Walt Disney, can achieve what you want to. His dream was clear. He wanted to build a brand and a global phenomenon that would impact millions of people over the world. He did it. What's yours and how can you bring it to life? Be resilient. Learn from Walt Disney. And the final point that we can learn from Walt Disney is that he was a brilliant salesman. And I'll be honest with you, whether it's a salesman or saleswoman, you've got to become a brilliant, if you want to be successful in business and in life in general, you've got to learn the art of sales and selling and how to be able to convince people to do things and achieve the things that you want to. When he was making Snow White, he ran out of money, and absolutely there was so many people that felt he wouldn't achieve the film that he wanted to. But he knew he had something that was strong, and so he started to share the raw footage of the films with different producers and eventually achieved the money and brought on board the funds that he needed to complete the film, and the rest is history. He was able to be proactive with his approach. He reached out to people rather than them coming to him. He was able to showcase why what he had was talent and could achieve results for the client and for him himself. He was able to sell his ideas and convince people to do things that maybe they didn't think they wanted to do. But by showing their value and giving them that inspiration to achieve and do incredible things, he was able to sell his ideas and sell his concepts and get results. And for you in business, we've got, especially if you want to achieve the big visions that you have, especially what Walt Disney had, we've got to be brave around the visions that we have. And we've got to learn how to sell and convince and show others that what we're doing can get them the results. And sometimes that's tough. Sales is full of challenges, it's full of setbacks, and so is business. But take inspiration from Walt Disney on what he did, and if we do that, we can achieve the success that we want. So I'm hoping these 7 things have helped you. Walt Disney was a salesperson, but he was also incredibly inspiring. He was able to take risks, but he was also able to change his attitude towards failure. He was able to believe in himself, and he was able to be resilient so that all of the setbacks that he had, he could overcome. And these lessons are critical lessons that we can learn in order to make our businesses more successful, achieve the things that we want to. Walt Disney, his legacy lives on. My question to you is, what's the legacy that's going to be looked at in 30 and 25, 30 years' time from you and your company that's going to live on? Or what impact will you make on the world from your sales activities that can ensure that other people talk about you like I'm talking about Walt Disney? I'd love to know what inspires you, what drives you. Put it in the comment section below. Let's have that discussion. Let's see what we can all do to take inspiration from one of the legends of business over the years and inspire us to achieve the results that we all want to. Thanks for watching the video. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please like and subscribe to the channel, share it with others, and let's make sure we get these lessons from Walt Disney across to as many people as possible to help them become successful. Thanks for watching. See you next Saturday.